So the U.S. Supreme Court lets Idaho enforce ban on transgender care for minors. So there's a win, right? We're just going to look at a little bit here. Let's see. Hey, this guy right here is in our way. April 15th, the conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court. I love that they always point out that there's a, conservative majority or a liberal majority or whatever. They're supposed to be impartial. Just saying. They're supposed to be impartial with their Supreme Court justices. That's what they're there for. Anyways, the conservative majority U.S. Supreme Court on Monday let a Republican-backed law in Idaho that criminalizes gender-affirming care for transgender minors broadly take effect after a federal judge blocked it as unconstitutional. The court granted Republican Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador's request to narrow a preliminary injunction issued by U.S. District Judge Lynn Windmill, who ruled that the law violated the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment guarantees of due process and equal protection under the law, while the state pursues an appeal. Hey, horseface. The Supreme Court's order allows the state to enforce the ban against everyone except the plaintiffs who challenged it. I don't get that. 5 of the court's 6 conservative justices concurred with the decision to grant Labrador's request, as 3 liberal justices dissented. Conservative Chief Justice John Roberts did not publicly indicate how he voted. Acting in a lawsuit brought by 2 transgender girls, 15 and 16, and their parents, Windmill blocked the Idaho law called the Vulnerable Child Protection Act, days before it was set to take effect on January 1st. This is not an old ad. Not ad. I'm looking at ad. I've got that ad, I think. A little bit of that ADD stuff. I don't know. It's going around. Let's see. Last little bit right here, I think. Maybe a little more. Let's see. The law. One of numerous similar measures passed by Republican-led states in recent years targets medications or surgical interventions for adolescents with gender dysphoria, the clinical diagnosis for the distress that can result from an incongruence between a person's gender identity and the sex they were assigned at birth. Healthcare professionals under the law can face up to 10 years in prison for providing treatments such as puberty blockers, hormones, and mastectomies that are inconsistent with child's biological sex, the correct sex, by the way. The law does not prohibit such treatments for the other medical conditions such as early puberty or genetic disorders of sexual development if it's consistent with the minor's biological sex, okay? The state has a duty to protect and support all children, and that's why I'm proud to defend Idaho's law that ensures children are not subjected to these life-altering drugs and procedures, Labrador said after the Supreme Court acted. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's one thing, and I have an issue with this too. I mean, boys going around saying they're girls, girls going around saying they're boys. They're not. They're just not. I mean, you may disagree or agree, whatever, and that's fine. That's fine. Everybody has their own opinion. But it's factually inaccurate. You are not assigned a sex or a gender at birth. It is observed. You are observed to be a male or a female, which is a man or a woman, boy or a girl. There's only 2, right? I get that right now it's cool to have all these different genders and the spectrum and all this and that. I get it. That's cool. Do your thing. And it's one thing for a kid to have imagination and play pretend and everything. I mean, I used to, when I was a kid, I was Superman or Batman or whatever. I still feel like Batman. I got the all black here. But it's a whole nother thing that we go chopping off body parts, right? That are perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. We're giving them drugs that alter their DNA, their makeup, their course of growth. They're preteen, adolescent, right? And we're going to inject them with drugs that there is no long-term studies on. The same drugs that we use to chemically castrate criminals. I can't talk right now. Chemically castrate criminals. We're giving that to kids to pause their puberty, as some of them will say. A great, even though they've got their drama and issues right now, the Daily Wire and all, but Matt Walsh, I think, Matt Walsh's What is a Woman was really eye-opening to watch. I know we watched it several times, but it was really eye-opening to see the verbiage that is used. It's such tender, loving, caring verbiage. When you break down the actual words, the actual drugs that are being used, the actual procedures, it is quite mind-blowing what they're trying to do to children. Now, I could Alex Jones's whole thing go into a deep dive conspiracy theory as to what is going on with all this transgender and chemically castrating and LGBTQ stuff and whatnot. But I'm not going to. Not today. Not today. Maybe some other time. I don't know if you guys are ready for these conspiracy theories that I've got. And maybe somebody else has shared them with me too. I don't know how we might have the same wavelength going on out there in the universe. Alex Jones may even. So I won't do a deep dive into that right now. All I will say is this is a win. This is a victory. We should celebrate it. Y'all better leave them kids alone.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.